Good morning, everyone. Glad everybody can show up. Don't worry, we'll be starting soon. Topping off some coffee. Get something good to drink, dudes. And a lot is on the platter today, so really looking forward to today's stream. It's going to be a fun one. Good morning, guys. It's all very new to me. I hope you guys like the layout. YouTube, I was tweaking all day yesterday. Hey, Anarchy, Snow, Blow, what's up, guys? Jay, how you guys doing? It's good to see you here this morning, man. I've got a lot on the platter for today. We got a lot of news. I'm going to go over a Star Citizen poll that we did. So we got some Star Citizen in the mix. So don't worry for our Star Citizen fans. We got some good Star Citizen coverage here, but we're also going to go over some other gaming events, some news, and I'm looking forward to chilling out with you guys, man. Life has been super busy. What's up, Viz? So good to see you. So good to see you guys. I noticed that the chat does show up eventually in YouTube. So when you guys watch this on YouTube, I'm going to make a DG in the Morning series that will have its own playlist on my channel. And you guys can just go directly to, because I'm going to do DG in the Morning every Tuesday and Thursday once everything calms down. And then I'll cut up stories that we do and post them as videos like we normally did on Twitch, because they banned me for talking about booby streamers. How's the sound, by the way? Sound okay? I'm really trying to gauge how professional this stream is. Hey, what's up, Zen? How you doing? Thanks, Twabbles. How you doing, dude? So you guys aren't able to see the chat here anymore, but that's not an issue, because when you rewatch the stream, the cool thing is after about an hour or two, it takes YouTube to load in. They'll load in the chat, and you can watch it off to the right-hand side. So I think it's a bit cleaner. I'm digging it. But how's the music compared to the like how I'm speaking right now? Yesterday I spent all day trying to make this as professional as possible for you guys. Ted's listening at work right now. Hey, Ted, good to see you, buddy. Still wiping the crust off his eyes, says Anarchy. Sound is good? Okay, Jay, thanks, dude. Thanks for the feedback, man. I'm trying to gauge how great everything is with the stream now that I had to you would be surprised what you got to do to stream on YouTube. It seems a little bit more difficult. I had to mess with my encoder. My bitrate got upgraded. Now I'm upload speed is at a almost 12, so my bit rate's at 6,000, which is nice, so the quality should be better. If it isn't, I don't know. I think it's on YouTube's end, but I spent all day yesterday, like literally from noon to about 7 o'clock in the evening, to get the best quality stream for you guys. I did like test streams privately, so nobody saw anything. I didn't want to come out on YouTube like, you know, here's a big giant turd for you guys. Okay, good. Audio's on point. Thanks, guys. Let's get into the events that I want to talk about. First off, We're going to start off with some Apex. We're going to go into Elite Dangerous. Then we're going to talk about the Expanse authors being upset at Star Citizen. So the writers of the Expanse are upset with Star Citizen. And hold on, let me get the music down here. I just might as well turn this off since we're starting these stories. It's time, I think, to get a little bit professional. What do you think, guys? All right, Apex Legends, we're going to talk about it. I am a big Apex Legends fan. Season 4 has arrived, and Revenant is their new character, the new legend, as it were. He's kind of like Pathfinder's evil older brother, but he's human in origin and then turned into a robot. He was an assassin before he turned into a robot. Now he's more like a cyborg, and he's a bad dude. But I played with him the other day, and I noticed that he seems to run faster, climb a little bit more than the other characters, and avoids a lot of damage that normally people would take. And I looked at the stats and noticed that, in fact, his passives do exactly what I mentioned. I played a little bit here. You guys can see on this test stream that I'm doing here. Let's see if I can get a better. Let's go here, and let's just do this while I'm playing, and you guys can see me play. And I was doing this yesterday. I was testing it on stream, playing with Revenant, and I have to say I had a pretty good time with him. The new sniper rifles, very cool. New sniper ammo for the sniper rifles. New ammo for the charge rifle. No longer will it take the energy ammo. It's going to take the sniper ammo, which is interesting. The map is very cool. It's like a kind of upgraded version of the map, but a little bit more destruction on the map. So I was definitely digging the map, and here I am with two other members of our community. I think I shoot somebody down here, and then I basically get hit and then get back up because they covered me. But Revenant himself, interesting background. I wanted to read a little bit on exactly what his passives are. So passive, low profile, more difficult to hit is what we're looking at here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Incoming damage, though, is increased by 5%. So if you do get hit, you get an additional 5% of damage. You crouch, you walk faster, and climb walls higher. So that's what I noticed while playing him, because I felt extra ninja-y. I felt pretty good while playing him. For newer players, I would suggest this character as well, because you're a lot more agile compared to other characters. At least it feels that way. Tactical silence. So your Q, you throw this weird bomb device that goes out and basically disables the enemy's abilities for 10 seconds. It also damages them slightly, like 10 or 15 damage on the armor. So not a huge damage, but it's nice because you can throw your Q out and disable a lot of the Qs of other players. And the death totem, which I found very interesting, where you drop the totem and it protects the users from death. Instead of getting killed or drowned, you will return to the totem. Now, I heard that also works for your enemies too. Have not tested that. But anyhow, the trailer came out a while ago. He's pretty nasty here. He's pretty nasty dude. He's a pretty nasty dude. He was a nasty dude before he was a cyborg. He's a nasty dude even more so now that he's a cyborg. And like I said, he's Pathfinder's older brother on crack. If Pathfinder ever got to be the chance to be a human, which is it's a Pinocchio story. There's two me's. This is really interesting here. I like this view. So I don't know. I'm gonna put this on the channel. Tell me what you guys think of him. I thought very interesting. Those that play Apex Legends, I highly recommend this character. I liked playing with him, and I thought he was definitely an improvement upon some of the other players' basic passives. So good job on that. Pretty good job on Electronic Arts parts by designing this new character in the new map. Dig it. Dig it. So that's what I have to say about that. All right. So there we go. I'm going to read your guys' comments and see what you guys think. By the way, I have new alerts. I have new alerts, everybody, just so that you know. 5 p.m. here says 3.1. I'm finding YouTube pretty interesting. I pretty good. Do the Curb Your Enthusiasm. Pretty good. I think it's great for this type of format where I'm going to discuss topics. I tweak the hell out of my encoder and the software I use, which is OBS, to try and get the best settings possible. I'm streaming now at 5,000 bit rate. 720 at 60 frames per second. If you guys notice any hiccups or anything, let me know. I also put new alerts in for people that push the subscribe button, people that push the join button, people that do hyper chat, to donate. I've done all the things that I needed to do yesterday. I sat down for 7 hours to do this, and I think we finally got like a nice format. Now, when it comes to gameplay, what I noticed is I went to a lot of other streamers on YouTube's gameplay. I went to like Apex Legends stars, those that are like have a huge following. We're talking millions here. We're talking very notable members in the YouTube community that stream very popular titles, people watching in the thousands. And what I noticed was, and it wasn't on my end, I did a lot of tests, that the gameplay, like when they play games, comes over a little bit garbled. No matter what they do, it seems to always be garbled. And I thought to myself, what could it be that is the issue behind why you're seeing so much what I would call blarg on the screen? And these are people that were streaming in 1080p 60. These were people that were streaming in 720p 60. And you could tell they were using different encoders like NVENC. They were using X264 encoders. They were using just about everything that I could imagine. And their frame rates were all over the place. But one thing I noticed is the blarg on when they did the gameplay, it was always mixed and jumbled. So I was a little disappointed by the game, like when I want to play a game, which I'm going to start doing on Wednesdays. I'm going to start playing games. Maybe once Twitch comes back, what I'm thinking is on Twitch, I'll do the gameplay like Star Citizen, Apex, because it comes through much clearer than it does on YouTube. And then when it comes to like events and topics, perhaps I'm going to stay at YouTube. It all depends upon how successful we do over here. And we're doing pretty good. What's going on, JS? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, BDH. It's good to see my family here. It's good to chill. It's good. I'm reading the comments, by the way. I'm seeing you guys over here. And I just giving you my experience of YouTube right now. So for those joining the stream, I'm just talking about the differences between YouTube and Twitch. And like for this format, I think it's fine. I think it's pretty good. When we get people coming in that are going to push subscribe or join, we'll get to see if the alerts are working or the hyper chat. And I'm not quite sure I want to have those alerts on when I do the Inside Star Citizen review. So we will have another stream today, the Inside Star Citizen review, which I'm really looking forward to. Let's get to our next story and get professional. All right, this is from Obsidian Ant's YouTube channel, and he's talking about Elite Dangerous. You know what happens here when I start to talk Elite Dangerous. I generally blow a gasket and have to go to the doctor for high blood pressure issues. But it was an interesting speculative topic about what perhaps is coming down the pipe from Frontier Development in terms of some news out there saying that whatever they're working on now is going to take possibly 2 years, that it's very big, but no one really has a grasp on what it is. And it really kind of grabbed me because I thought very similarly to Obsidian Ant, where Obsidian Ant speculates that perhaps what we're looking forward to or what might be in the works at Frontier is space legs. Now, first off, let me say this. Will space legs be enough? And by space legs, we're talking characters. We're talking characters in the game walking around in the ships. And by all means, that is cool. Don't get me wrong. I think that it would definitely improve the game. It wouldn't make the game less fun. In fact, I do think it would enhance it a little bit. However, I think that we have to also look at what the game offers in terms of gameplay. Like right now, I'm not really happy about what we get from Elite Dangerous in terms of playing and seeing other people in the universe, in the sandbox, as it were. I'm not happy with the fact that these vast distances that are truly mind-blowing if you think about the fact that they're creating so many systems, that there's millions or perhaps billions of systems in this game. I don't think it's as exciting to me as Star Citizen. I'm going to tell you why. Because I feel like there's a cap. I feel like there's a top point at which there's a limit or a cap, and it is a limited experience, whereas Star Citizen is more of a limitless experience in terms of what they can provide. Now, of course, Elite Dangerous is a finished game, and Star Citizen is a game that is still in development, of course. But to me, I always have gravitated towards Star Citizen more than Elite Dangerous for what it is that Star Citizen promises versus what Elite Dangerous has given me up to this point. And while I do get excited about the flight mechanics in Elite Dangerous, and let me tell you, bar none, I think the flight mechanics in Elite Dangerous are the best that I have ever experienced, ever, that I'm not too happy about the fact that there's no true gameplay representing the type of gameplay I like besides the combat, in terms of finding other people in the verse to have PvP events with, in terms of having a real economy that actually where the items and the assets do something, that they have a purpose, that when you're buying a mineral, that you know it's going towards something, that you know somebody's using it, that you know. And in fact, when we watched CitizenCon in 2019 and we saw the Quanta produced by Tony Z and Josh, where they're working on the economy and they're showing us AI simulated economy, that was just blew my mind, frankly, that initially I was completely against. Those that have watched the channel here know that I have argued for a player driven economy for at least 3 years. And to see that there's so much improvement in the AI with Star Citizen and what they've done to simulate a real economy, I was literally blown away by what I saw at CitizenCon 2019 versus what Elite Dangerous offers now and for the future. Elite Dangerous doesn't really give me that same vibe. So again, when we ask ourselves the question, what is the differences between Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen? I would say that Elite Dangerous doesn't think ahead in terms of the gameplay and what it truly offers to the gamer. And that is, you know, all the aspects of the gameplay within the game, not just the economy, but the combat, the ability to log into an MMO and be playing with other people. You can do that in a squad. You can create it in Elite Dangerous. Yes, I'm not trying to poo-poo Elite Dangerous. I've had a lot of fun in Elite Dangerous. And yes, I am looking forward to Space Legs. I want to see what it's like when you're walking around in Elite Dangerous. I think it would be a fun time. But I'm also pleading with Frontier and David Braben of Frontier that we start putting in gameplay mechanics that matter. And that, of course, walking around is a huge step, but there has to be more. In terms of what Star Citizen is offering versus Elite Dangerous, I am going into the Star Citizen camp and saying that even though those features are not out right now in Star Citizen, at least they're promised, and the promise of it is more rewarding than what the current gameplay of Elite Dangerous has to offer right now, if you guys understand where I'm at. Now, this is my opinion, and you know, obviously this is my view as a gamer, but this is what I think about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment. The family is talking over here. If you can't see them in the chat, don't worry. We're streaming on YouTube. You'll be able to watch the live chat once I make this a video, and I'm really curious what you guys have to say as we can see the comments scrolling from our family over here. There's some really interesting comments that I'm seeing right now. Some people want to see the interior. You can see the interior of ships. The family's saying they want to see the interior of some of the ships. And you can see the interior right now with the camera the way that it is. You can see your character sitting down in the ships in Elite Dangerous, but you can't walk yet. So walking around, I think, would give us more of a 3D feel when you're in these ships. I applaud Obsidian Ant for being ahead of the game here and talking about these things. And I truly do hope that this is what is in the store for Elite Dangerous. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you on the next vid. So yeah, that was interesting to me, guys. Free DG 2020. Fox, that's great. Space Legs has been constantly pushed back though. Absolutely, Twabbles. Absolutely, dude. Hey DY, what's going on? This is demo pre-engineers, enough said. Yeah, exactly, demo. Like, pre-engineers was where it was at. I've argued that for so long, demo. Absolutely, dude. Like, engineers kind of ruined it for PvPers, especially because what ended up happening is it made it completely imbalanced. So not only was it hard to find people pre-engineers, the only way you could was through community goals, but now engineers made it so that PvP was completely unbalanced. And I agree with that statement 100%, demo. I am getting the game when it is cheap on Steam, says BDH. Yeah, I think that's smart for any title, really, dude. And where is the fun? Fun is what it comes down to, right, guys? Like, any type of title, any game, absolutely, the fun is where it comes down to. All right, guys, you've waited long enough. I think it's time for a Star Citizen story. Let us do a Star Citizen story. This is the first time that I'm going over this. So let's see what we got here. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is pretty amazing to me. The Expanse author blasts Star Citizen for privacy breach. Just when... when will it stop? I'm telling you, it just gets me so angered. You know, like everything going on with Crytek, and now we're talking about the Expanse author blasting Star Citizen for privacy breach. Let's see what's going on here. This article written by Justin Olivetti over at Massively Overpowered, which I love this site, by the way. I think it's one of the better ones out there. It's fan funded, and I highly recommend Massively Overpowered to get your gaming news from. So it says, this is probably not how you want to get noticed by another major name in the sci-fi industry, but Star Citizen seems to have severely irked the writer of the popular Expanse series due to a privacy bug that activated his computer's camera without permission. Whoa, we were talking about this in the community the other day. We are talking about this, the FOIP features and the ability for them to accidentally keep our data. We were talking about this. Oh, shit. What are we going to do? I install you and you instantly turn my laptop camera on without explicit permission. Way to volunteer to be uninstalled forever, said James S.A. Corey, the pen name of two authors, Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank. Corey's account went on to say, one time invading my privacy without permission is enough. Ask, just ask first. In response, Star Citizen's dev apologized and said this situation concerned a documented bug for the camera, which is used to generate facial expressions for your in-game character, also called FOIP, or Face over Internet Protocol. I happen to love it. And also, I don't get in front of the camera and do kinky stuff unless I'm paid for it privately. And Browsers pays me for it. Guys, I gotta get my side money somewhere. But when I'm FOIPing, I said FOIPing, not fapping. I actually always make sure. I have this weird thing about privacy issues with cameras ever since Snowden, you know. I usually, what I'll do when I'm not streaming or if I'm just living my daily life, will tape the camera because I'm that paranoid of people being able to watch. And, you know, with me having all these cameras and this equipment around here and the microphone, I get completely paranoid, like conspiracy theorist paranoid type of anxieties sometimes. But this is something where, like, personally, I don't know if it was I don't think it was anything intended to like, I don't think it was intentional is what I'm trying to say. I think truly they have some bugs and they got a little sloppy and they didn't cover their butts with lawyers and things in the TOS that people could push that say, okay, I accept, I understand there's going to be me on the screen and you have the ability to take this data and use it. If for any stretch of the imagination they actually used it for ill intent, they could have possibly used it to compare frame rates and mocap issues with what people were doing in the faces and the digital characters and how it was responding. I don't think that's what it was. I think this was just an honest bug that they didn't cover their butts on. So anyhow, let's keep going with the story. They totally agree that this shouldn't be the case, that shouldn't be the case. This is usually disabled by default and requires enabling in settings. This is a bug that crept up in our latest patch. Our team has been working on a fix already that we're going to deploy in a patch soon. Meanwhile, the January report for Star Citizen is up for your inspection. In it, the devs covered improved combat AI, the final touches on Microtech's Harsh Moons, some half-eaten apples, and internal plans for the next quarter. And we'll get on that in the future about the roadmap revisions and changes. There's a couple people that are a bit upset about what's on the horizon versus what we thought was on the horizon. We'll talk about that in the future. But let me know what you think about this article, because God, if they get pursued anymore by companies that go after them for that cash and they don't cover themselves, this is a little sloppy on Cloud Imperium's part. Come on, guys. Come on. No, do not open yourselves up for any more lawsuits. Please, oh please. Chris, Cloud Imperium, stop that. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I will see you on the next vid. Yeah, guys, can you believe that? Oh man, that just got me all types of worried about. Yeah, Jay, I think that too, dude. Even, we had a little bit of that in our own community as well. And my stance towards it, Jay, because Jay says, oh, he's sighing and the haters are fishing now to come up with hate flags towards SC in any form. And I think in a way that I honestly believe this was not intentional. I really think this was just them being completely sloppy. They gotta professionalize up a little bit. They gotta get a little bit more professional, Jay. You know what I'm saying, dude? And I feel like you sometimes. I'm like, no, not anything else. I don't want to see this happen anymore. It's ridiculous. Oh, they pushed the Cutlass Blue, says DUI. Oh no. I'm just glad they got the red out, man. I was looking forward for the red for a long time. I actually dig the Cutlass red. Dumbest thing to turn into a hate bait article. Absolutely agree, dude. I think it's kind of a waste of time. I think it's sensationalized a little bit. But if this is something that, you got two authors from the Expanse saying something, then people tend to grab those headlines. You know what I'm saying, Jay? All right, let's see what else we have here. Oh my gosh, this is an interesting story, and then we'll get back into Star Citizen. I want to talk a little bit about this because we talked about it a few months back, and let us get serious business mode here. Hey guys, it's a blast from the past. We're talking about Blitzchung. You guys remember the Hong Kong Hearthstone hero? Many people were upset. And the question that was being asked here in this article was, are you still boycotting Blizzard? You know what? I haven't touched a Blizzard game since then. I really haven't. I used to be a big Hearthstone player, and I really haven't. And they had a poll at the bottom of this article that I wanted to show you guys because the results were really interesting. And if you guys forget, let's read this article for those that aren't familiar with this story. Massively overpowered reader Pepperzine recently dropped us an email about Blizzard that we put off until today very intentionally. Why? Because tomorrow Activision Blizzard releases its Q4 2019 financial results. Oh boy. I should have looked those up. Sorry about that, guys. Obviously, Blizzard's January disasters don't show up in the report, which covers the period ending December 31st, though we expect analysts to ask about that. But we also have no idea whether any of the company's autumn train wrecks will be reflected in the report. They have to. They're a public company. They have to put the numbers as the numbers. There's no way they gotta put it in there. There might be some creative accounting there, but the numbers are going to be there somehow. My guess is probably not, says the author. Maybe the author is saying because they're going to do some creative accounting that's going to make it look like it wasn't a big deal. Possibly. I've seen companies do that in the past. Given the way the reports and dopey analyst questions are structured to obscure such things and slump Blizzard's games were already suffering. some of these analysts don't ask dopey questions. I've listened to a lot of these conference calls, especially for earnings, for quarterly reports on larger companies that when I used to trade. And let me tell you, some of these analysts have some pretty hard cutting questions that make the CFO take a pause. And you can hear the nervousness. You can anticipate the fact that this guy's going to have a shaky voice. Some of these analysts ask some pretty hard cut questions. This is real money in the real world, man. So, not every analyst question that I've heard is dopey. But anyhow, Pepperzine wanted us to follow up on our piece about the boycotts from October 17th, a few weeks before the now infamous Alan Brack non-apology. Yeah, I remember that. That's ridiculous. At the time, 38% of our readers said they were boycotting Blizzard, 23% were not, and 30% had sworn off Blizzard games anyway. I think it would be interesting to get a poll of where we currently stand. Harris is massively overpowered. Let's check it out. Are you still boycotting Blizzard? Let's look at this. This is interesting to me. I did take this vote, by the way. We almost have more votes in our community than this massively overpowered article. I just want to throw out props to my community and just say you guys are hardcore. Good for you guys. Our votes are near that or almost over that on our current poll that we're going to do on Star Citizen after this video here. So I'm really excited about our community throwing down. But anyway, I was never boycotting Blizzard, says 20% of the vote. So 20% of people said they were never boycotting Blizzard, which, there should have been some retribution towards those, the way that they just basically shunned initially Blitzchung because of what he had said about free Hong Kong, and they didn't win his prize and they didn't give him his prize money was despicable. It was despicable, absolutely despicable what Blizzard had done. And, Blizzard's like a world owned, they're around the world, they're global. And so the cultural stances of Blizzard's offices in China are completely different than the cultural, principles behind their American offices. So, that was the big conflict, is the two different cultures, but the two different cultures, but capitalism was the biggest thing. And for them to shun Blitzchung the way they did initially and then not apologize for it was ridiculous. Of course, afterwards they did give him a portion of the prize money and, kind of apologize to everybody because Blizzard wanted to say, hey, we're still an American company. We started from here. So let's see. 2% said I was boycotting Blizzard, but no longer am. 2% said I am boycotting certain Blizzard products, but not all. So that's not that big. I am playing Blizzard games, but specifically withholding more money. It has 8% of the vote. So again, not huge. This was important, and this is why this is in bold here. 27% from 38%. So since then, 4 months ago, there's only an 11% drop. So 27% of those taking the poll, and this again is a small sample, but it's interesting to me that nearly basically 1 out of every 3 people are still boycotting Blizzard. Now that could affect the bottom line. 1 out of 3 people are essentially boycotting boycotting Blizzard. And I put that as well because I have not played anything Blizzard oriented since, personally. Again, I was disgusted by it. I didn't like it, and I said enough. And I haven't touched Hearthstone since, and I was an avid Hearthstone player. I loved Hearthstone. I just didn't like the fact that it was pay to win, essentially, and you have to continue to buy packs on every expansion, as is the Blizzard model. It's completely disgusting as well. So 15% said I am boycotting Blizzard for other reasons, not Blitzchung, just upset people. So think of that. So there's an additional 15% of people. Now we're at 42%. So now we've increased it 42%. Wow, that's nearly 1.5 people out of 3 people. So now we've increased that. That's interesting. I'm not playing Blizzard games, but not because of the boycott. Another 21%. Wow, wait a second. Now we're starting to get up there. So we're at 42% plus the additional 21%. Let's do math here. 3 carry the blah, 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 blah. 63%, guys. Now we're at 63%. That's over half people on this. Now, again, this is a small sample, but I thought this was really interesting. What are you guys doing when it comes to Blizzard games? Love to hear you guys' comments down below. Anything you have to say about Blizzard, anything you have to say about Blitzchung, anything you have to say about this poll, would love to hear from you guys, and I will see you on the next vid. Boom, professional. Profession now, guys. Woo, what's going on, Cypher? Good to see you, by the way. Sorry, guys, when I get into this video mode, sometimes I'm ignoring the chat, and I apologize. The way that YouTube setup is slightly different. Don't worry, you guys will be able to see your live chat. Don't worry about it. You'll be able to see it on the videos and on the DG in the mornings that we're putting out here. Good to see you guys. Yeah, 63% are probably gamers, Jay. Yeah, exactly, DY. Exactly, man. Well, I'm telling you, this is a good conversation because you think about this, and it probably did. It probably did hurt their bottom line. So I'm curious as to how they reported. I'll talk about that later. Well, next time we stream, we'll remind me, and we'll look at the quarterlies and see how they did. Very, very interesting. That Expanse article gave me coronavirus, said Jay. Oh, shoot. That's hilarious. Now, I'm going to get into some Star Citizen here. We're going to get serious, and we're going to get into Star Citizen. By the way, don't forget, later today or tonight, we will be having the Inside Star Citizen review where we chill out with our family, grab your favorite beverage for tonight, and we are going to be watching Inside Star Citizen together. I'm looking forward to it. It's my favorite time. It's my favorite day of the week is Thursday, and I love to chill out with you guys. I love it. Raisin says, I really like the topics you're talking about, DG. Keep on keeping on. Thank you, Raisin. Thanks, dude. Thank you, dude. Yeah, and I'm going to cut these up into videos, and we'll see what our community thinks. I really hope you guys are digging the format here on YouTube. I really appreciate all of your support. Could not do this without you guys. It's great to be here today. Real life has been absolutely hectic this week. There's been a content drought on the channel, and I completely apologize about that. But we're kicking back up. Don't worry about it. I love you guys. You know I never stop for those hardcore members. They understand that. They understand that. I know. I'm looking in the chat right now. I know who my hardcore members are. They've been here forever. Dig it. All right. Let's talk. Let's get serious. It's time to get really serious right now. I'm going to do something I don't think I've ever done. And that's get really, really deep into a subject that perhaps might get people upset. And we're going to talk Star Citizen right now. So let's get ready. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to DG360. An interesting poll that we took here today. This is going to be a community event. For those watching right now on stream, I can see your chat. The family is here. There's over 30 of you, nearly 40. We got a good amount of people. YouTube's doing great for me as far as the streaming. Perhaps the ban on Twitch is the best thing that has ever happened to me when I talked about booby streaming and they banned me for 14 days and yet allow booby streamers to do what they do. That's just the Twitch mentality over there. That's okay. I'm over on YouTube killing it right now. Killing it. So what we're going to talk about today is Star Citizen, one of my favorite topics. I'm very passionate about the game. And today we'll be covering just how important Cloud Imperium is to you when it comes to their business model and how they operate. I think the first question that comes to many of our minds is why? It's a good question. The answer is relatively simple, because I want Star Citizen to become a reality. At least in my mind, that's relative. Let me explain. Most of us casual and hardcore gamers focus on one thing when it comes to gaming, and that's the game. It's understandable that we don't question the company behind the game because we judge the end results of their hard work or lack thereof playing the game. Many of us, myself included, play the game and then give it praise or criticism via a review. So why is my coverage of Star Citizen any different than, say, Red Dead Redemption 2, or for that matter, Rockstar Games? More good questions. Again, for me, the answers are relatively simple. 1, the scale and scope and what is promised for Star Citizen by Chris Roberts and Cloud Imperium. The limitless experience that is promised. 2, the manner in which this project was initially funded by us, the gamers, directly. Now, initially this was Kickstarter. The evolution of the project changed based upon funding and what backers wanted. When the counter money arrived at the end of 2018 and changed the game a bit as to the funding model, that's when things really got interesting as far as me looking into the business. Cloud Imperium. It's important to question the why behind this money and why it came in, and not just assume that $46 million was brought in for advertising only. Okay. And 3, the importance of Star Citizen to the gaming industry. If Star Citizen and Cloud Imperium succeed, this will change the way games are made and funded, period. Those are the 3 reasons why Star Citizen is different than every other title out there, and why I do focus on the business model, the management, the financials. That's why I do it here on the channel. That's why I do it. These 3 factors are really why I focus on it. So what is stopping Chris and Cloud Imperium from making Squadron 42 in the PU, the verse, in a timely manner? Or is it time that is an issue for most of us? These are more great questions. What's this time factor about? Ourselves, number 1. The issue of time we, the backers, are willing to give Chris and Sig, I believe, is relative to the amount of money we have pledged. For me, I don't have more than a few $100s into this project, and am willing to give them ample time because of the limitless experience that is promised. And we've talked at great lengths on this channel how the amount of money you pledge is an investment of the heart. While it's not a monetary investment on which you're going to get any gain back from, it can be argued that there is a deep emotional investment. So in essence, we have ourselves to blame for the amount of time this has been taking, as the majority of us wanting a limitless experience and having added game mechanics we want to see in Star Citizen during this 7 years process. 2, the technical hurdles like SOCS, and that's server object container streaming, and server meshing. In an article from the New Yorker that we went over here on the channel a few months back, Chris reiterated our narrative here within this community about offering this limitless experience to all of us. In the article, he explained how exciting it was to be at the forefront of game development, and how he and those that work under him were comparable to photographers in 1920 trying to figure out television. I like the analogy. When it comes to offering this experience, we see how the first iteration of SOCS, server object container streaming, that this technology is in fact possible and will most definitely evolve. So we see that. However, server meshing will be one of the largest hurdles for making the PU limitless. I talk about this in length on DG360, and Noobifyer also does an excellent job covering it on his channel, talking about the aspects of technical design in these areas. But beyond the technical hurdles, there are also everyday hurdles that Cloud Imperium has trouble with, like animation, mocap issues, AI, physics, and basic game mechanics that leave some of us wondering, why are we still having these issues after 7 years of development? And this leads me to the topic of our video, and I think is one of the most important factors that could potentially stop this game from becoming a reality. And that is Cloud Imperium's business model and Chris's management of Cloud Imperium. First off, let me state that I am by no means bashing Chris or the employees at Cloud Imperium. I think what is trying to be achieved here is one of the most interesting developments of our time in the gaming world. To offer us a limitless experience is by far a difficult task, and one of the reasons why many of us watch Star Citizen content. Many think that my focus on SIG's financials, their overall business practices, and my coverage of the management within are antagonistic in nature. Nothing could be farther from the truth. In fact, I'd argue that because of my focus on these topics at DG360, I am the biggest proponent of not only the project, but of others who focus on making Star Citizen content out there. Since day one of discovering this project, I don't think I have ever been more passionate about any other title ever to exist. That is not an exaggeration. Let me repeat myself here and state for the record, I love what is trying to be done here. Because of the scale, the scope, and what this project is offering, I think it absolutely vital we all focus on those that are directly responsible for making our dreams of the limitless game become reality. And this is what is at stake here. A limitless game. The first ever. Okay, perhaps Star Citizen won't initially give us a truly limitless gaming experience, but I believe it's the best shot we have today. And that is why I cover it on DG360 so often. Now let's get to our poll where we see how important you think, Chris, Cloud Imperium, the financials, and the business side of things are. I designed this poll to see just what direction I should take on my content as well. If by the end of this review I see that it's not that important for you all, then I ask myself, why should I take out the extraordinary amount of time to create such content? But if I see that the majority of my audience feels as I do, then I will continue to create such content. So let's look at the poll here. Thanks for that, by the way. That took me a little bit of time to write down, to properly express it to you all. Let's check out this poll. Very interested in the results. Very interested in what you guys have to say. Here is our poll that was posted to our community 18 hours ago. Let me refresh here. Let's see how many total votes we have. 326 votes. And here was the question or questions posed in the poll. In regards to Star Citizen, how important is Cloud Imperium's business model to you? To give more clarification, do you personally care about how Cloud Imperium is run and managed in all facets of business? Which facets interest you most, i.e. management, QA, development, communication, PR, finance, etc.? You can elaborate in the comment section. Look forward to hearing you from on this. Now, here we go. Here are the results. 45% of you, less than half, said it's your primary concern. It's the number one reason to SC success. That was my vote as well. 45% of you said that. So I was happy to see, honestly, I thought the number was going to be a little bit lower. But I'm happy that 45% of the citizen-based audience, those interested or not interested, well, those interested in Star Citizen for positive or negative reasons, really want to focus on that, as I do on the channel here. 27% said they think it's important. However, they don't like to touch a subject. Perhaps these people just, it's not their cup of tea. They're like, hey, you know, I think it is important, but I just don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the fun. I want to focus on the gameplay. I want to focus on the content when it comes to, you know, in footage, the in-game footage. I get it. I get that. That's why I put that there as an option. 11% they don't care either way. They don't care either way. 9% say it's none of our business how SIG runs themselves. I think that is highly irresponsible, by the way, for the very reasons I stated before I got into this. But okay, I guess I can get that. I can't get that, by the way. I just can't get that with this type of project. And 8% they don't care. So overall, it looks as if 72% think it's very important. That's a pretty good majority. However, only 45% really like me to focus on this type of content. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious as to what the future of my content's going to be on the channel here. If I'm going to continue to focus on the financials, on the business model. I think it's important. Let's see what your comments are. Okay. First comment from Herpty Derpty. I'm kind of tired of people complaining about Chris Roberts like they know anything. It's his idea. It's mostly his business. Win, lose, or draw, it'll be on him. Let them get on with it and judge it when it's done. The business model works, and that's good enough for right now. I wouldn't agree that the business model works. I think that's what's in question. I think it's important to question that, Herpty. I'm glad you think it works. I'm currently of the mind that there could be improvements. I'm not saying it's in disarray. I'm not saying it's not working. I'm just saying there could be improvements. We saw in the last Inside Star Citizen, one of the producers of the 60 teams worldwide had said that communicating and getting everybody on the same page when it comes to these teams was similar to herding cats towards a large fountain of milk. That was a very disturbing analogy to me, to hear a producer say that. Because first off, why would you need to herd cats towards milk? Cats love milk. So maybe we should look at the way in which the people are being managed and the actual processes within the company and voice up. I think it would be responsible for us if you are a fan, if you are passionate about the game. But that is your opinion. 14 people thumb that to the top. That was the top comment. Interesting. Cutler says, I don't play anymore, not because the game's state, but because their sleazy business practices turn me off to the whole thing. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call them sleazy. I think what he's referring to is the continued ship sales cycle, the never-ending push of concepts and ships. This, unfortunately, is their way of making revenue. It is what keeps the game afloat. And I was of Cutler's mind about 2 years ago. I am no longer that way, and I'll tell you why. Back then, in those days, I agreed with Cutler because I thought to myself, man, this feels slimy. Here's another ship. Here's another ship. Here's another ship. Here's another ship. But as time progressed and to my current view, I realized that this really was the main revenue. This was the driving revenue behind making this game become a reality. So while we might not be happy with it, Cutler, I think it's a necessary evil. Good. I like your comment, dude. I like your comment because I was of that mind a long time ago and I'm not now. But just because we disagree now doesn't mean that your comment is not valid. I dig it. All these comments really are valid in a way. These are your guys' emotions. These are your guys' feelings. Okay, Lou. Let's see what Lou says. As I said on your Discord, SIG's management needs work. They need to find focus and actually do one thing and finish it instead of a dozen small things that are all done poorly or halfway. Now, unfortunately, Lou, that's just not how the game industry works. The development on a game, there's always going to be multiple facets. There's always going to be multiple teams. I think, though, that I agree with you as far as execution. It is like watching a bunch of children make a game. And, you know, perhaps the reason why Lou feels this way is because of the transparency, which is a good and a bad thing. Like it's good because it's transparent. We can see what's going on and we have put money and pledged money into the project, but it's bad in a way because we do see the flaws. We see the cracks. So Lou, I dig your comment, dude. Shay says, SIG telling us this project is all transparent, but the wins gives the feeling that they aren't. I just want to feel they are. I think there are more than me with this feelings. Okay. I don't think English is Shay's first language, but that's okay. I get the gist of what he's saying. Perhaps better public relations, perhaps better promotion would help the overall image in some of those who mirror Shay's opinions would be my kind of slant on that angle. And Nax says, I think it's very important, but most of us armchair experts have no idea either. He's absolutely right. You know, like when I cover this, I get as many hard facts as I can. I get the data of the numbers, but I speculate on those numbers. So ANAC is 100% correct. We know what we want, but we don't know if that's a good business decision for a multi-million-dollar company. And I think that like everybody's entitled to their opinion on the decisions that Chris and Cloud Imperium make. We can tell there's been some mistakes, but even in larger companies, there are mistakes made. Most of the time, we don't know what dodgy dealings and mistakes companies make. But with SC, we've been able to see most of what goes on through their finances and public statements. They have been transparent. ANAC is right. I am so happy because they didn't used to be transparent. I think it is because of voices like ours that said, hey, we want the door open. We want to see what's going on. This is a project that has not been done successfully before on this scale. There's 200 plus million. In fact, I think at the time we were voicing our opinions about this, it was at like 125, 150 million. And we were like, okay, there's a lot of money in this. Let's see what's going on. And Cloud Imperium opened the doors up and we're very transparent. They're not going to lie about that number. Those numbers that they post, there's some people that will say, oh, those numbers are false. No, that would be a huge, egregious mistake. and you're not going to see them do that. So the numbers that they're posting are actually representative of the accounting that they with Companies House over in England, with the IRS here in America. Those numbers are the numbers. So the numbers that you're seeing on Cloud Imperium's site, those are the numbers. They wouldn't dare report false numbers, because that is an offense. That is something that they can get sued over. So anyway, the players will always be sensitive about what SIG does because the players are funding it, but everyone will have a different opinion of what is important. What's important is they keep getting the money to keep moving forward and keep developing the product. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, dude. Pinky says, much like the game it is developing, SIG leaves much of its financial infrastructure to the imagination. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think what Binky's referring to is, yes, we see the numbers, but what about the creative accounting? Again, we're talking about the 46 million. We're talking about how that 46 million is to be used on the record publicly. That 46 million was stated to all be used towards advertising. Interestingly enough, that private investor money came in at the exact time when it looked as if the reserve cash in the accounts of Cloud Imperium were at an all-time low, and they still owed on some loans with some banks. So that timing of that money is a little suspicious as well. Again, this is speculation, but I get what Binky is saying. I understand. So while they are transparent and we can see the numbers, perhaps because of it, it opened up a few more areas of concern, and I get where Binky's coming from. Rocket, here's my take. I was an early backer of a game called Eternal Crusade. I remember that, dude. They promised us Warhammer 40K on a planet-side scale. They kept us informed. Partially. We never got the end product, and this from a company that was already established. SIG has been more open with us than I've seen any other developer be, and that's why I decided to back around 3.0. Because unlike Behavior Interactive, SIG is showing results. They absolutely are showing results. They are getting places. Sometimes they're tripping over themselves, but we're able to see this in like no other way we've ever seen any other project. Good comment, dude, and agree. They have come over some serious hurdles, and I've seen the game come a long way and have enjoyed it. Although 3.8.1, I believe, is a sloppy mess. Everybody waiting for 3.8.2 on the PTU. I know I'm first wave when I hit it. I'll give you my opinions on what I think of 3.8.2. I'm personally looking towards 4.0. I'm already looking out towards 4.0 right now. The hype train of CitizenCon has passed, and the veterans like myself are still standing. I'm still being positive. I can't wait to see what the 2019 numbers are going to be in 2020 when they report. Hopefully you guys are just as interested. Again, like I said, if I start to see that people just aren't interested in this topic, perhaps I will not provide this content any longer. Sublaya Sanguin says, would you prefer a big publisher that takes more than their share of profits? Considering this is a crowdfunded game run by one man and some family and friends, I think they are doing a fantastic job. Never said they weren't. Never said they weren't, Sabla. Not perfect, but awesomely well done for a crowdfunded management model. There are aspects of it where I think it's great. There's other aspects where it's not. It's not just black and white. It's all kind of in the gray. You know, there's some aspects of the management that I don't like. What I just saw on Inside Star Citizen. We know that the staggered development is relatively new. That was mentioned on the last Pillar Talk, I believe, with Aaron Roberts, who is Chris Roberts' brother. And they talked about bringing about staggered development because they would be able to get things executed and they would be able to be more efficient in those tasks that were ahead of them, in those goals, in the roadmap. And we see now that there's a little bit of trouble, that perhaps there's some pistons that are misfiring. And, we have to say, okay, why? and that's, I think, the responsibility of content creators like myself. Crazy for Hire. I think it's important, but I'm backing CR's game. I already put on my vote to trust him and his crew. And, that's great. If you're passionate and you're trusting, that's wonderful. I'm very passionate about the game, and I want it to succeed too. But also we have to look at it professionally as well and say, okay, where can we improve? And some people, again, they would say, well, it's not your business, DG, to do so. And I think I accurately described why I think it is when I opened up this video. Theory crafting doesn't do too much for me when it comes to a business model. I wouldn't call what we're doing here theory crafting. It is speculating. And also there's definitely some facts behind the numbers. There's definitely the numbers, and numbers are the truth. The numbers are the truth. And how you analyze those numbers. That's why there's financial analysts in the world. That's why you see financial analysts give a damn and ask questions like I've been asking every quarter on larger companies like EA and other game publishers. It's because the numbers are the facts. Chris Erickson, tough to pick the correct answer. Basically, Chris didn't take our money to produce the company profit. He's using it all to make the game. Now, in addition to making the game, he's building a game studio from scratch into successful IP. When all is said and done with Squadron 42 Episode 1, I hope that he'll use more traditional methods of securing financing. I agree. I agree, Chris. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I was a little concerned to see the Cowder money come in. And I hope I absolutely agree with you. That's a wonderful comment, dude. Wonderful, well thought out, intelligent comment, Chris. Hammer Dookie. And yeah, by the way, Hammer Dookie, I love you, dude. That is like the best. That is the best name. In business, the most important part is that more money comes in than goes out. In order for the game to succeed, the business must succeed. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not my primary concern, but it is vital, says Easy the Goon. Okay. Yes, I agree with that. Prince Sean. If SIG doesn't learn to communicate with their audience better, they may soon see a large drop off in sales numbers. This is a good topic to talk about, is like how effectively you think their public relations department deals with making those who are backers feel like they're being heard and that something is happening after they have been heard. This is a great topic, Prince, and I absolutely agree with you, but I don't agree with the fact that we're going to see a large drop off in sales anytime soon. Perhaps if it's just repetitive. You know, there's a lot of people that are not happy with Spectrum. There's a lot of people that are kind of being tossed aside when it comes to problems or issues they're having. But on the flip side of the coin, there's a lot of basket cases out there. There's a lot of mentally ill people. There's a lot of, people that are just, not in the right frame of mind, or trolls out there as well. So that's the flip side of that coin as well. Philip Lemon, what's going on, Philip? I just want the game to come out. Oh, that's great, Philip. Vincent, the only concern I have regarding how to manage their money is if we find out Chris is keeping most of it for himself. Otherwise, being independent from other studios seems to work out well. No pressure from investors is a good thing. I don't think the pressure is completely off of them, Vincent. With the Cowder money, I think there's a little pressure. And let's hope they don't have to do that again. If aside that everything gets pushed back almost every patch. Yeah, we've seen it. And hopefully staggered development does something here in 2020. Ryan says, number one has too many value judgments for being the only option that cares. I care and think, by the way, Ryan, I only have 5 choices I can put on the YouTube polls. I realize that many citizens want 20, but because of sample size and because of limitations on YouTube, I've only able to give 5 choices on the poll, which personally I think are more than enough, but okay. I care and think both their successes and failures are drawn from the model. Their model rewards them from developing in perpetuity. On the other hand, they're promising a truly next-gen experience and are beginning to deliver. They have begun to deliver. There are some hurdles, like I had mentioned. And, all right, pretty decent comment. What's up, Cash? By the way, we're having a giveaway here on the channel. Go to the channel. Check it out. My girlfriend played Star Citizen, and we made a little video for the giveaway. We're giving away a Pisces, and we're giving away an Avenger this month. And Cash and our friend Vitals in the community are donating them, and I love them. And Cash, absolutely love you, dude. Thank you for helping out here. I appreciate it. All you have to do is become a patron or push the join button here on YouTube, and you'll be automatically entered for 2 giveaways every single month without you having to do anything. So thank you, Cash, for doing that for us here. It helps support this channel financially. Without it, we couldn't continue making content here on the channel. Thank you, Cash. I'm giving you a heart just for that, dude. Now let's read what you have to say. I think people feel they have a right to interject as if they own the business and can malign anything they don't like. That's a good point. Recently saw a person comment how CR was meddling in the development. How would you... Here's the thing. CR might not be the best manager, but I don't think he would ever intentfully try to meddle to make his own project blow up, you know? So I get where Cash is coming from. What's more interesting is you see people buying more ships. That's absolutely right. 2019 was off the charts in terms of revenue. Ridiculous. Best year ever when it comes to the ship sales. We covered that on the channel. And the more money they put into the game, the more they feel they have a right to complain. We talked about that at the very beginning of this video. How the amount of money that is put into this game is relevant to people's emotional context regarding this project. You know, if you put a couple $100 or less in this, you're not as concerned. Oh, Killian, God bless you, bro. Welcome, my friend over there in Germany. How you doing, dude? Appreciate you, man. Thank you for that. Dark Angel Gaming. The nepotism really blanks me off. I'm not too sure that the nepotism. I love you, Dark. You know I do, man. You know I absolutely do. In fact, he direct messaged me this morning some financial article, and I absolutely appreciate him for doing it and the others that do that. Thank you, Dark Angel. But I don't think the nepotism is a huge deal for me. If you look at the history and the way that this started, you know, there's a lot of companies out there that will bring in a brother or a father or mother, and you know this tends to happen throughout businesses. I don't think it's just generally a smart business practice because you're talking about family. But yeah, I get where you're coming from, Dark Angel, but I don't necessarily agree with that. Commander Mon James, it's important, and I do like the subject. All right, very simple. I like that. Keep it simple. Nice. Rob says they are like most large companies in the fact that they are in it for the profit and kudos. I would be slightly upset if they mess up and destroy this project and backers' funds, but that is sometimes business. I haven't backed as much as some, but it would be close to 4 digits in UK sterling if I counted. Oh my goodness, Rob. Not including peripherals to aid the enjoyment. I did subscribe 12 months basic thinking you would get a better insight into their work. The extra forum page can get salty with whiners, and everything you find out is given to public forums a few days later. Took a large step back 8 months ago to stop the ship sales hitting my wallet because the one thing CI games are good at is spinning a new ship and features to purchase it. Damn, nearly went to ship sales then. Here's the thing. We talk about a few of the issues that Rob mentions as far as like becoming a subscriber, how that subscriber money is being spent, and how we want to see a little bit more focus being put on the productions when it comes to Inside Star Citizen, as far as the meat, the details. And I'm glad you took a little hiatus from the amount of money that you put in there, Rob, too. I find a lot of the subscription material that I get, because I'm a subscriber as well, pretty helpful, especially for creating content. And I've had months where I've enjoyed it, and I've had other months where I've not been so happy. It's a mixed basket for me. Invisible. Oh my goodness. Invisible. One of the shortest comments that I've ever seen from you. I'm going to give you a golf clap, not just because of the length of the comment, but I bet it's going to be straight and to the point. I like it. Everyone on Discord already knows how I feel. I talk about it enough with Boot. It all matters. Vote for the top, as there was no option for I think it's very important. Yeah, there was an option for I think it's very important. It was the first one, man. Come on, Invisible. Maybe you just didn't see it. Sorry, that was okay, that's terrible. Herc says it is definitely a large interest and concern. However, I wouldn't say it is my primary concern. Okay, all right, respect that. That's why I put this poll out there, because I also wanted to see what you guys thought, and it'll help me out with my future content. Daniel Sosa, my biggest concern is the 7 million loss they reported. Dude, me too. I've talked about this. A company that is showing significant loss year-over-year basis and who had to sell part of the company to outside investors when it always said it wouldn't do so is very troubling to me. Okay, Daniel and I are on the same page. Daniel, hello, dude. Welcome. Welcome to this family. I hope you're a subscriber, dude. Somebody who's rational. I feel that if they don't release Squadron 42 soon, or if they do and it's a bust, the company will be in big financial trouble and won't be able to finish Star Citizen. Those 9 million in marketing are also very trouble. Yeah, we also did an article here. Thank you, dude. I'm going to personally reply. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that you take the time to watch my content and digest it as such. That's very nice. You know, that's very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. So we talk about that 9 million as well on the channel here. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, go to the channel, go check it out. Ricky Wood, his company started in 2011 and in 2018 was evaluated at $500 million. Yet everyone on the internet had an opinion on how it should be ran. When any of you accomplish what he has, then you can talk. Go ahead. In 7 years, I want to see any of you build a company. Dude. I don't think we're questioning that at all, Ricky. You know, you're absolutely right, man. As far as like what Chris has accomplished, I don't think there's another person out there. That has to do with sales. You know, being able to get others to hop aboard the narrative that you're telling. He's a great storyteller. He's great at giving you the vision and putting it out there. That's why he talks with his hands a lot. I talk with my hands a lot too, if you haven't noticed. But you know what we're talking about is the ability to put out a narrative that everybody can get behind, and with that narrative, look how far he's come. And absolutely agree with you, Ricky. You know, we are not saying anything contrary to that. That is, we agree with you here on this channel. Justin Daily, but wow, I want to say thanks, guys, first off, for the amount of people that have taken their time to comment, and it's just really nice that you guys have done this. It means a lot to me that you guys take this amount of time to really truly get into these discussions. We have Robert Carling, God bless you, dude. Oh, it's going to the Grill Fund. Thank you, Robert, for that donation, man. That's going to help out huge. Thank you, Robert. I can't tell you how appreciative of those who help finance this channel. Thank you. Justin Daly says, thanks for the poll. Some constructive criticism, though. All but one answer implies we don't want to see any SIG business content. Kind of exactly why I did that. I wanted a true reflective number. You see what I did, Justin? You're absolutely right. Justin is right. He found out one of the ulterior motives behind the poll. I wanted to see how many people were interested in the content that I make. And that number was 45%, less than half of people that took the poll. So very good of you, Justin, for noticing that. I couldn't care either way, and I couldn't care less are practically the same answer. Okay. I think I just explained why I did what I did too. So there's like two birds, one stone, or two girls, one cup. No, that's a completely bad analogy. Are you losing my mind? I don't know. I love it. That is the best name ever, dude. As long as they're not being legitimately dishonest or unethical, I don't care. For the most part, they haven't been. Every once in a while they stray into some iffy gray area, and I wish they would pull back, but beyond that, it's their business. All right. I mean, I think it's all of our business for the reasons I stated, but I respect that. I respect that, dude. That's your opinion, and you know, I don't agree with it, but I see where you're coming from. Kuv Dab Gib. What's up, Kuv? Been a while, dude. I don't care if they move to fortune reading from bones and palms as long as they deliver. Not that is the part which fears me. Can they deliver since we are in 2020 and they are still full of, I don't know, Koof. I don't know, man. This seems really negative. Like your comments, like they might trigger me, dude. No offense, Koof. I love you, man. Borengar 629. In my opinion, it is none of anyone's business how they run their company. All right. If they keep their promises towards their paying customers and act within legal confinements, it is all fine and dandy. Even the working conditions of their employer are of very little concern to me. I don't think we're worried about the working conditions. They have nice offices. I'm more concerned about the actual interaction between producers and teams, and the actual business practice, you know, as far as the business model. Let me say the business model, not the practices. Let's see here. Even the working conditions of the are very little concern to me, if that may sound cruel. If you are not happy with how your workplace is handled, go and get another job. This is not even meant disrespectfully. I think that SIG employs mostly competent people. I think it's more about how they're being managed, not that they're competent at all. But if you do look at Cloud Imperium's website, you will see a continual endless stream of job openings, and that is a bit concerning to me. Also keep in mind that if you ask an ex-employee and a current one how the company is run, yeah, right, you'll get two different answers. Long story short, they don't owe us transparency. I disagree. I disagree only because of the scope and scale of this project and for the exact reasons why I opened up the way that I did. But respect it. I respect your opinion, boy. Shryquill, wait, what does that last option mean? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Eagle 6. What's up, Eagle? I think there's a lot of problems to cover as well as financials. It's definitely important to cover it, but there's a lot more to cover, like what's accomplished with that money given. Yeah, we do a little bit of that here. Monthly report was just released. Easy content right there going over what was done with said money in January. Absolutely, we go over those monthly reports from time to time. And like I said, there's been some revisions that people are concerned about with those monthly reports. I do feel sometimes you are a little too financials focused. All right. Crytek lawsuit ends Saturday too. Remember, it's not an issue if another YouTuber's done a similar vid. Your followers are after your opinions and views on the same subject. Thank you, dude. Thank you, man. That helps me out. That's constructive criticism from Eagle there. Tomato says, SIG have abused the funding model a bit, in my opinion, but not as much as they could have, and they are making a great game. I don't like at all that they have all this money and no real accountability. We are like investors, but with no recourse. After 7 years, we still have no idea of how long it might take, but they are continuing to market SC as a playable game. Hopefully it will become a very playable this year. Now, let's give them a little props though, Tomato. It has come a far way, but I get what you're saying, dude. It's like I said at the very beginning with AI issues and physics and, playability, stability. I get what you're saying, man. A lot of backers reflexively defend SIG because it has received so much unfair criticism, but I personally think we need more people to hold their feet to the fire and make sure they are accountable to the backers. I like that, Tomato. I like a tomato. Carlo Jorison, who is a Viking. Hello. Marketing concept team, best I have ever seen. Planning team, worst I ever seen. Managing and communication, nice try, but it's pretty bad, misleading, and not always right. Promising features years ago that never even are discussed again is wrong. In a business scale like SID, if they are not certain about things, they should not create expectations to deliver and promise it in a press announcement. In fact, I read that in such a manner that I could just feel Carlo furiously tapping at the keys right there. I hope I read that correctly for you, Carlo, in a very very Viking manner. People do not accept that. Also, the roadmap thing creates false expectations in the way it's being handled now. I think you're hitting on something there, Carlo, in the terms of the way they go about putting down goals in the roadmap. I think they overshoot. It reminds me of a couple years ago when Chris would always give dates to things. And finally, I think it was either Brian or Tony said, Chris, stop it. And then you never heard another date from Chris again. I think they're kind of doing that also with this, with the roadmap. And I would have Chris and those responsible for the roadmap really look at it and be very real about what at the very least can be accomplished and start there. So Carlo, I'm glad your comment made me think about that and to talk about that. Thank you, dude. Captain Carrot says, I think most people reading this are interested in Star Citizen's success. And without a successful business model, this is unlikely to create a longevity that we are all requiring and are personally committed to. That is responsible. That is responsible. I dig that. Snowfox says, diving into business stuff never been my thing. I always enjoy how you make it understandable, DG, but it's not something I look into myself. Fox, how you doing, dude? Fox is here on stream with us. But there are a lot of people on Discord that do look into everything. Makes me wonder if people do this with other companies. Absolutely do. Financial analysts do this all the time when they're looking at companies they wish to invest in. Is it similar, doing this with Cloud Imperium? As they're not a public company, I think in a way, like I said, we're emotionally investing ourselves dependent upon the amount of money that we put into this project, Snow. And I am emotionally invested in this because I want this to become a limitless experience. and I'm a content creator and I'm passionate about this project. Good question. You'll see people in the financial world do this all the time. Financial analysts, they do this all the time. Fox, great stuff there, dude. Killian, what's going on with his iHeart DG Mug VIP badge? You get a heart for that support, dude. Killian also pledging money here too. What a boss. Thank you, Killian. Hey, brother. As the more inner circle of the DG community knows, this subject is talked about quite a lot on our Discord. It is. Ad nauseum sometimes. In fact, in the VIP room one day, I said, can somebody please start talking about something different? And I love talking about this stuff. Somebody throw some pictures up in our Star Citizen chat area in our Discord, please. I have quite some things to criticize in terms of PR, communication, and business forms, shareholders, etc. Other expanded to even more facets. The reason why I voted that I don't like the subject is if SIG would pump out awesome stuff in the predicted time periods, no one would even care about how the company is managed. Woo! If I had a boom sound effect right there, I'd put one in right there, Killian. You might be onto something, dude. That is a very good point, man. That's a very good point. We do care mostly because the above isn't the case. So the whole discussion nowadays is born out of frustration. I myself was the best example in the aftermath of the recent roadmap massacre. I feel you, dude. Also, I believe there is far too many ifs and buts in every direction because there is far too little knowledge about what is really going on. And this is with a company that's being transparent too. I'm exaggerating now, but all too often I see myself and others sitting at home frustrated, partly clueless with no risk, no pressure, no responsibility, but knowing exactly how S gets done. That doesn't work out for me. Absolutely agree. I don't think that people who are really not invested have the right to complain because they really haven't put any commitment towards the project. So I do agree with that, Killian. We are all, I mean, they are entitled to their opinion. I'm not saying they're that, but I think that when you see it to what Killian's talking about, to the extent where people will actively troll and they don't have any money in the game, I think those people I just don't understand that. So I agree with you there, Killian. We are all pretty smart and we all have pretty good suggestions, but I'm also sure the guys at SIG have those too. There's quite a bit to dislike both in the game and the company, but at some point I have to agree with Chris Roberts. It's easy to be an armchair CEO. Now you guys can give me crap about it. Love you, fam. No, dude. No, I'm not giving you crap about it. I think that was a very well written those were very well written comments and statements there, buddy. I like it. I can't believe people are still giving CR a hard time with this. Like, WTF, he's proven so fully that he's not about the money. He could have walked away with millions and millions years ago if he was. He's about the game. SIG will never make the profit the big companies make, and that's awesome. That just means all the potential profit comes back to us in the form of a better game. They have been open about what they are doing the whole way. No one has been arm twisted or even lied to buy ships. It is so obviously a passion project on so many levels. It upsets me. CR is making his masterpiece, not only for him, but all of us, and doing an incredible job of it. There's some points I agree with and some points I don't agree with, but I get where you're coming from, Firesmith. And for some reason, people just can't understand that or are jealous or something and just have to find a fault in it. DG360, why would you try and promote unfounded negatives about SC? I don't think I'm going to legitimize that with an answer. That's not what I'm doing here. And I hopefully you guys know that I'm not. Hopefully you guys were here at the beginning of the video where I explain exactly my stance. I don't think I could be more succinct than in my opening. And I hope my opening helps you as well so that you understand where I stand. Fire. GK, except for the fact that it's crowdfunded by the selling of ships, that's their funding model, I don't see anything out of the ordinary in their management. Okay. In fact, I see them to be more open than others. I do agree. They're very transparent. It's the transparency sometimes that actually lend more questions and concerns, but I'm very happy that they are transparent. SIG has three main constraints: funding, scope, and time. And they have to make hard choices. They chose to maintain the scope at all costs, but they don't have control over funding, which is driven by the backers and limits the size of the company. They you know, you notice like these ship sales are set as commercials, and they do a hell of a job at presenting them so that they can in fact make sales. You see that so they can, in fact, they did a hell of a job this year, and that's why their revenues were the best that they've ever been. Talking about all the release of what was it, the Privateer, the Kraken Privateer this year, that the numbers were through the roof the way they presented it at CitizenCon. They're always having these interesting variants of different ships or new concepts. My criticism towards that is that those that have bought concepts and are still waiting, those that have been waiting for 2+ years, I really would like to see some of the teams go back and finish those older concepts. The Hull, for instance, the Orion, for instance. You know, these are ships that people have put the money into. And yes, of course, you're going to see Citizens take that money, melt it, and then scrap it and put it into something new. They're not just going to wait around having put that money in years ago and not get their ship that they want. Some people have. You know, some people committed to the ship that they absolutely love. I would like to see Cloud Imperium, Chris, put a lot more effort into those who have put money into older concepts that are still not finished. The Endeavor. You know, I would like to see all these concepts kind of being flushed out, worked on, finished, more attention towards those concepts instead of a new concept. So I think we got to take some of those teams and reinvest it. This is, again, one of the reasons why I focus on this type of content, is because I think it would be much more suitable to honor those who have pledged for concepts that are not finished yet. So that's where I'm going with that. Thank you for your comments. And I get where you are coming from, GK. I hope that while I didn't cover all of your comments, that at least that shed some light on my line of thinking there. Philip says, Philip Nunya, none of those options work for me. Okay, then I'm sorry about that. Cool Tunes, I wish I did not have to care about it, but since it is clear management is struggling, you are forced to keep an eye on it to protect your investment. Yep. Boom. Benjamin Durfee says, it's important, but I think you draw some strange conclusions reported from their reported data. For example, the perceived need to show profit the same year they sold some equity. Well, we're not quite sure how the equity is being used because they did not report how the equity is being used, Benjamin. So I'm not quite sure what strange conclusions you're talking about because we have not seen those numbers yet, Benjamin, but I respect your opinion, even though I disagree. I think that I have given the best analysis that I can possible. I come from a background of 10 years of trading on the stock market. I did it because I needed to find a way to be home with my 2 children because of their mom passing from cancer when I was 28 years old. And I traded on the regular for around 10 years. And eventually just got burnt out. I wasn't unsuccessful. I was actually a very successful trader. And, you know, I think I try and give the best analysis I can. Of course, I don't have any degree. I self-taught myself how to trade, watched tons of CNBC, listened to a lot of conference calls, understood the analysis work done by financial analysis done by the analysts. And, you know, I can only give you my take on it and the experience that I have picked up along the way. Tony Kiev says, I care as much as I care how Rockstar runs their business. It's their company and seems to be successful. I'm not an investor. I'm just buying a product. If that product turns out to be doo-doo, I knew the risk. Okay. All right. Again, this is helping me. Vix ID, you're the only one that covers this aspect consistently. So those that do care enough turn to you for coverage on the business side. We don't subscribe to your channel because you hold back. Please don't start, says Vix. Business model is not my primary concern, but I acknowledge it is important and would probably watch your content on it. All right. I think we got a nice positive there for it. That's nice. It's one of the first ones, or it's not one of the first ones, but appreciate that. Eclectic Signal SIG really needs to work on their communication skills. I think their communication skills in terms of community and backer. Yeah, I would agree. Eclectic. So much left up in the air. Not a word to the backers. If it was not for us funding the project, they wouldn't have the creative freedom they enjoy. Love, Tomo. Oh, what's up, Tomo? How you doing, dudes? How you doing, dude? Thank you, man. I know Tomo. Solara, what's going on, girl? It's good to see you. Solara says it's more of a game design issue I have. I could care less for procedural planets if they're only going to be 1/10 the size of realistic planets that produce similar amount of gravity to that of the Earth. They are probably realizing this now because in order to have the same thickness and density of atmosphere, they will need to make the planets the same size of the Earth. Otherwise, everything is all foggy, which has been a big turnoff for me. Interesting. She's talking about the physics. She's talking about physics and the promises they made to represent real physics. So very cool, Solara. I hope everything's going okay for you. I haven't gotten to talk to you in a while. It's good to see you. How about the J? I think the overall view is do what it takes to make the dream come true. Here, take more of my money. Great channel and good luck in 2020, says Jay. Thanks, dude. We're going to need it. We're going to need it, man. Thank you, Jay. DY says, well, I think that's really the only vital question left. Everything else, even the delays, is just a matter of time. Yes, DY, and DY is on stream with us. Sup, bro? I love Sup Bro's little icon there. Hello, development department. He's trying to wake up the development department. Jay the Bosun's on stream with us as well. To be honest, the business model for me is irrelevant. I've never cared about any other games. Not going to change. I care about what content is coming and it sticks to what they say they're going to do. So he's talking about execution, which does come down to the actual workings of the business. I want to thank everybody. By the way, we put out our first podcast for those who are members here in our, you can see it over here. We put out our first podcast. We talked with members of our own community. For those who are members and have pushed the join button here, you can listen to that. Also on our Patreon page for $5 members and up. I want to thank everybody over here that took the time out to comment. All of you, every single one of you. I would like to thank the family over here, which you'll be able to watch their chat scroll past here on the stream live. This, I think, was a very important topic. It will help me with future content creation. And, you know, I appreciate you guys. And we'll see how this video does when I release it. And I just want to tell you guys thank you. And I will see you later tonight when we watch Inside Star Citizen review. Yes, I look forward to that. And I guess I'm going to see you guys later. I hope you guys comment down below. I want to thank everybody here that's been on stream with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. And again, stay tuned. Join our Discord. Become part of the great discussions that are had here. Thank you, fam. And I will see you later today or tonight when we watch Inside Star Citizen and we have our Inside Star Citizen review. Thank you. And I will see you later.